Hello there, Leo. Welcome to your reading. I hope you guys have been doing well. It's Keegan. If you're new here, hello, it's nice to meet you. And if you're returning, hi again. Thank you for coming back. I did pre-shuffle both of the decks, but I just want to give a couple of shuffles here on camera while I'm talking to you guys and connecting into your energy. As you can see, I'm fully decorated for spooky season. Halloween is my birthday, if you did not know that. And so this is one of my favorite times of the year, and I love doing readings that are specific to spooky season. I want to show you really quickly what we're going to be focusing on so you can decide if this is a reading that you want to hang out and listen to or whether you want to move on to someone else. This is a you and them reading, so we'll be taking a look at you and the connection you have with someone. Now, this could be someone that you're in a current relationship with, someone who you are in separation from, someone from your past, someone you are interested in. And if you are single and you don't have anyone particular in mind, you can still watch this reading if you'd like to. Just think of the other person as being insight and information into the person who might be approaching you next in terms of a romantic relationship. Okay, so that's what I'm going to be looking at. I also really quickly just want to let you know, if you want to do a personal reading with me, I do have some spaces left in October. I'm running a special this month. You can see that information on your screen now. If you're interested in doing a personal reading with me, you can just send me an email, keaghantarot@gmail.com, and I can let you know specifics and details around that. Okay, so I want to go ahead and just dive into this. I'm going to grab the Oracle deck and put you guys back over here. Give this a couple of shuffles for you guys, and then we will pull one out for both the Heal the Past and Secure the Future positions, and then dive right into the reading. Okay, so I feel like that's good. Here's a card regarding your past. This card right here is going to be the Secure the Future. Putting that right over on the other side. We're going to start here, and then we will take that the tarot deck. I'm going to shuffle it a couple more times, put all of the cards down into the spread, and then we'll pull them back over here and look at them two at a time. Okay? So hopefully that makes sense. So let's see what's going on in terms of insight into how to heal whatever is going on, whatever past energy is still lingering for you. Okay? So the card coming out here says, I create mindful moments throughout the day, reminding myself that I am loved and miracles are natural. Now, whenever this card comes out, this particular card, I do recommend that you try to find ways to be present in your life. Okay? That you try to focus on ways that you are grounding yourself. If you are familiar with mindfulness exercises, you can do those. If you're not familiar, there are lots of resources online explaining what mindfulness exercises are. But it's important that you do this not just daily, but throughout the day. Whenever this card comes out, it represents a situation where probably you are either focusing so much on the past, your attention is so much on the past, your energy is still very connected and rooted to the past, or you're very worried and anxious about the future. And this card is coming through to remind you that being present is what matters the most. And it's something that you have to practice. It's something that you have to be aware of throughout every single day. It's a habit that you need to learn. Okay? And one of the ways that you can do that is to remember that miracles are natural. The universe wants to do things and work for us and create situations that work out in our favor and bring the things into our lives that we want. The universe wants to provide us with healing. But often we get in the way of that. We try to complicate it and make it very hard and challenging. Okay? So just use this as something to just focus on. Over the next month even. Just focus on being mindful for the next month and having trust and faith that things can work out the way that you want them to. And see what happens after the end of that month. Okay? So I'm going to go ahead and put that card over in its position. I'm going to bring this tarot deck over here and shuffle a little bit. Like I said, I did pre-shuffle this, but I just want to finalize this deck. Do a little bit of tossing and turning and getting these cards where they feel like they need to be. I know that lots of people like seeing the readers do this. I think for some people, it's just they enjoy hearing the cards being shuffled and having the whole process. And for others, I think it might be some trust issues. But this deck is good, okay? I'm going to switch you guys over so you can see Just bringing this deck right over into frame here, and I'm just going to take right off the top. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we're going to place a card there, here, and I will remind you guys of what each of these card placements, what they mean, as I pull them over, so you don't need to worry if you don't remember exactly what it was that I said the card represented when I showed you earlier. Okay, so I'm going to get these first two cards here. This is going to be the recent past and the main block. Switch you guys back over here. So we have these two cards here, and let's take a look and see what's going on with you. So in terms of the recent past, what do we have going on here? Well, let's it's funny. I'm looking at this illustration. This is a new deck that I got, and the person who did this deck is actually a tattoo artist. And so every time I'm just sort of captivated by the illustrations because they did a really good job with those. Okay, so it's very interesting in terms of what's going on with you in the recent past, because I think that you have had a situation where you've been very caught up in thinking. So this is coming out as confirmation of what I was picking up earlier just with that oracle card. You've really been in your head a lot, and it's led to a place where you haven't really gotten a lot of traction. You've been thinking and thinking and thinking and thinking, but there hasn't been a lot of being present in the doing aspect of it, of actually implementing things or trying to figure out how to unravel things. One thing that I do feel, though, is I do sense that you're tired of this, which is good. Often people get so, people can become addicted to just thinking and thinking and thinking and analyzing and replaying the past and worrying about the future. And that anxiety becomes sort of an addiction for them. And I'm not picking that up as much here, which is good. I feel like you're getting tired of it. And there's a certain, almost like a restless type of energy that I'm enjoying. Let me try to explain this a little bit to you. When I think about fire signs, just in general, you know, one of the things I really admire about fire signs is that they have this passion for life, and they have this adventurous spirit, and they have this desire to it isn't necessarily like a free-spirited energy with all of them. That I associate that much more with Sagittarius, but there is sort of like a wanderlust that I associate with the fire signs. And that's what I'm getting here. There's a realization that you want your life to be different than what it has been. And there's a desire to reconnect to that type of energy, reconnect to that willingness to be bold and be out there and be willing to not be in your head as much and actually be out in life, doing and living, rather than thinking about it. Okay? So I'm kind of liking this. But let's see what's going on in terms of what's the block here. Well, very interesting. We have the King of Wands coming out here. It is reversed. So this is interesting. I'm picking up that this might just be your own vibe here, especially with being the King of Wands. Yeah, I don't feel like you are necessarily being very nice to yourself right now. This feels like a situation where you are this feels like where you might be beating yourself up a little bit about some choices that you've made or decisions that you've made or some things that you might feel like you're a little bit behind on. Right? This feels like a situation where you are like you're You're letting those inner voices that tell you that you're not good enough, you're not strong enough, you're not capable, that this is something that's out of your reach, that this is something that is beyond your control. You're allowing that to block you. You're allowing that to really get in the way. It's interesting because I feel like a lot of that inner dialogue, a lot of those voices that you're contending with, they aren't necessarily, if you could analyze it, if you could take a step back and think about it, they're not necessarily things that you think about yourself. They're things that you've been told about yourself. They're things that are echoes of input from other people. But those things, we have to deal with them. We have to figure out how to get those things out of our mind. That's very important. So I'm going to put these cards over into the spread. We're going to pull your pain and their pain. Now, it's interesting. So far, I have not really connected to the energy of another person here. Okay? So, we'll see what comes out here in terms of, their pain. But in terms of this recent block, or this recent past and the main block, that felt very much like your own energy. Right? But let's see. What's going on with you? What's your pain here? 10 of Wands coming out reversed. And then for them, we have the Hangman coming out reversed. And this is interesting. I want to talk about them second, but we'll talk about you here. So this 10 of Wands, again, it's more of what I've already talked about, right? I think that you really are in a place where you're annoyed of being in this really high pressure, being overwhelmed, being in your head, being blocked. It's become a situation in which it's starting to affect you beyond mentally. It's actually starting to get on your nerves. It's starting to trigger that that space where you just feel fed up. You're annoyed by it. It's stifling you. It's keeping you from being able to do the things that you want to do. You have an awareness of this. You have an awareness that this is something that is the energy of this feels like it's finally time to deal with this. I'm fed up. I'm done with it. So this is good. Even though it is painful for you, it feels good because I feel like you're ready to take action. You're ready to deal with it. You just don't quite know how to yet. Okay? Now, it's very interesting in terms of them for their pain. You have this hanged woman, or it's a hangman, but it's a woman in the illustration, coming out reversed. And I think what's happening here is that there is someone, and from their perspective, the thing that is really hurtful is that they're being kept from engaging with you. I don't think necessarily that it is anything that you're doing. Very interesting energy here. It's almost like this person has their own stuff. This person has their own path that they are on, their own concerns, their own worries. And in a way, they're having to disconnect. They're having to disconnect from this so that they can focus on themselves. And it's interesting for me because there's really nothing they can do to help you with this stuff. This is about you. This is about you figuring that stuff out. I don't think that this person has any desire to hold you back from being able to pursue the things that you want to pursue. They have, if anything, they have a desire to really see you thriving, to see you pursuing things, to see you doing exactly what it is that you want to do. But I don't know how much they can help you navigate that because they have their own stuff. The energy for this person, they feel very much like there's a lack of control in their own situation. There's a lack of feeling like they have the ability to deal with their own stuff. And it's interesting because this feels like that's painful for them in terms of themselves, but it's also painful for them in terms of this connection with you because they feel like they're not able to give you the sort of focus and attention that they wish they could. But they have to focus on their own stuff, and in a way they're stuck. Like in a way they're stuck in their own stuff. So let's take a look here. Blind spot for you, blind spot for them. Now, what I want to say here is when I say a blind spot, it's something that you're probably not aware of. Is either being something that you're doing, something that's in your way, right? Same for them. Okay, Six of Cups here coming out reversed. It's for you, Leo. It's very much the same sort of energy that I'm getting consistently. Okay. Now, what's interesting here is you got the Six of Cups reversed. They got the Six of Swords reversed. Okay, as blind spots. I'm going to talk to you first because I can get through this fairly quickly. Okay, when the Six of Cups comes out reversed, it's a situation in which we're living in the past. That this has been something that's been consistent for you, right? You have to figure out how to let go of the past. You have to figure out how to be present. You have to figure out how to utilize being present in what is, looking at what is, and figuring out how you want to begin to shift those present moments from day to day so that you're getting yourself closer to the type of future that you want to have. Okay? I don't think that you're fully aware that you're doing this, how much time you're spending in the past, beating yourself up about the past, worrying about things that are no longer part of your future or part of your present. Okay? But I've talked about that energy, right? So I want to focus in on their blind spot because I think this is interesting. In a way, it's similar energy, right? They are very much unable to move on. They're stuck. Hangman reverse, Six of Swords reverse. They're stuck, unable to move on from things in the past. Really dealing with lots of fear and worry and concern. Stuck in it. They are in very stale, stagnant type of energy. Okay? Both of these people, there's lots of mirroring going on here in this situation. Right? Where you have two people who are in a connection with each other, but are very focused on their own inner fears, their own inner dialogue about themselves. Not very present in the connection with each other, not very present in what's actually happening, the reality of the situation. Both people feeling quite dissatisfied, but not necessarily dissatisfied with each other. Not necessarily dissatisfied with the relationship, which is interesting. Instead, it feels like a dissatisfaction just with themselves. It's confusing, and I'm sure if you're in this, you're probably nodding your head and saying, yes, it is. There's nothing necessarily going on in the actual connection that is bad. Right? I'm not necessarily sensing that either of you would point to the other person and say, there are lots of things about this person that I want to change, or there's lots of things about this relationship I want to change. But for both people, there's just a general dissatisfaction with how life is going. right? So this could be, I wish I was further along in my career. I wish that I had more money set aside. I wish that I was achieving more in terms of my goals. I wish that I was healthier. I wish that there's lots of dissatisfaction in general, but it's not necessarily about the relationship. It's focused for both people. It's focused inward on themselves. Okay. Okay. Hidden fear. Hierophant coming out reversed. The devil. Wow. Coming out reversed. All right. Well, yeah, this makes sense. I don't necessarily know how hidden these fears are. They might be hidden from each other, or hidden from yourself. I guess perhaps for me reading this, these don't seem very shocking. For you, Leo, again, this is kind of more of the same of what I've already talked about, right? I think that there's a fear here that you will end up in a place that feels quite stifling and limiting for you and for your personality. What you crave is being able to, again, it's that doing things the way that you want to do them, being a little bit of a rebel, going against what's expected, right? Being very, like you want to have a unique life. You want to do things on your own time. You want to do things the way that you want to do them. And I think there's a fear that you're not going to be able to do that, or that you're not on that path of leading towards that. There's a fear that there's a fear of doing that, though. There's a fear of pursuing it. It's almost like you are, going all the way back to that original oracle card, which was about being mindful. It's like you're not doing things in your daily life that are leading you towards that path that you want. And what's the cause of that is because you really do have a fear of living that sort of life. You want it. It's what you want, but you're not actively pursuing it. And I think that's the question you would need to ask yourself is why? Why are you limiting yourself in terms of what you're pursuing and what you're chasing after? Okay? Now for them, okay, their fear. I think for this person, the fear that they have here is really around doing the final amount of healing that they need to do. The Devil reversed is a good card. It's about finally dealing with things that need to be dealt with about ourselves, the darker side of ourselves, really healing deep, painful trauma that we might be carrying, really taking a look at our emotions and sorting through them and figuring out, what baggage can we clear. But for this person, they have a fear around that. I almost feel like this person has wrapped their identity in being the person who gets hurt, being the person who is mistreated, being the person who is abandoned, being the person who's left. They've wrapped so much of who they are into that story that now that they are in a situation where they don't have that, they don't have a fear of someone leaving, they don't have any sort of red flags, they don't have any sort of, warnings, they realize that they can now deal with these things. They don't need to use them anymore as a guard against people. But it's scary to try to let those things go because they've created an identity around them. Very heavy reading. Okay, last cards here, secret wish of each person, and then we'll take a look at that final oracle card around securing the future that you want. Okay, secret wish coming out for you, Leo. Secret wish for the other person. Okay, so we have the Ten of Cups reversed and the Lovers reversed. Now, in a typical reading, Okay, I just want to say this in a typical reading, the cards would be not great, right? But I don't feel like either of these people are wishing for this. Okay, so we have to look at, again, like this is the secret wish of this person and the secret wish of this person. That's actually very beautiful. And I think I said, there's some mirroring going on here between these two people. We had the Six of Cups reversed. Let me switch you guys back over so you can see what I'm looking at. So Six of Cups reversed over here, blind spot. Six of Swords reversed here, blind spot. We had the Hierophant and the Devil card, very intense cards, major arcana cards, right, coming out. And then going back here for the Secret Wish, Ten of Cups reversed, Lovers reversed, okay? Both of these people have a lot of intense fear, around this connection. They see this for what it is, and they really want to not do things to damage it. So let's just talk about this, okay? So, like I said, the Ten of Cups reversed is really about, a relationship that has problems, okay? But I don't think this person is hoping and wishing for a relationship that has problems. They're hoping to avoid this. This person's hoping to avoid this. Both of these people are in this, and I think what's happening here is that they're realizing, based on the past, based on their experiences, based on situations that they've had, they're aware of the things that they do to self-sabotage, the things that they do to cause problems, the things that they do to get in the way of their happiness. Those things are being brought to the surface. And they're realizing that they have to focus on themselves. They have to focus on healing these things within themselves so they can avoid this. They do not want to end up in a situation in this connection where they damage this, or they put it at risk, or they cause it to fall apart. Like, I keep putting these cards together because I just feel like these two people are, and in a way it's a very awesome energy because I'm going to put these cards over here so I can talk about just the spread itself. It's awesome energy here because, like I said when I was talking about this person and saying, it's almost like the painful part here is their realization they have to focus on themselves. They have to kind of be in this place of dealing with this long-term, hangman reversed energy. They can't necessarily support you in what you need to be supported in because they have to deal with themselves, right? It's because, they really want to make sure that this is something that lasts. They want to make sure that this is something that's healthy. They want to make sure that they're dealing with their stuff. And on the opposite side, that person's doing the same thing. It's fine to focus on yourself when you need to focus on yourself, especially if you're doing it from the context of trying to make yourself healthier, make yourself more stable, make yourself less toxic, less, self-sabotagey, for the goal of making a relationship that you really want for it to work out. What's tricky about readings like this is that, do both of these people manage to do what they need to do? That's unclear, right? Because it's in the process. Let's take a look at what the Oracle card has to say here. This is about securing that future. And from what we've seen in the cards, it's a future in which both of these people are healthy and happy and thriving and living the lives that they want to live and also managing to be together in that, okay? So what advice do we have here for that? So this says, true healing occurs when I give myself permission to feel whatever feelings live below the triggers. And it's exactly, it's this, okay? It's this. What is it that causes you to be triggered in relationships? What is the root of that? What is the main cause of it? This is the trigger. I get into a connection, I feel close to people, I pull away, I sabotage, I do this, I do that, right? Those are the triggers. What's below the triggers? That's the key to flipping these cards upright and having what it is that you want. Okay? It's looking at what causes you to get freaked out, what causes you to feel trapped, what causes you to feel stifled, what causes you to feel like you need to, jump ship before you get left, what causes your abandonment stuff to, like, all of those things underneath. And it's both of these people are starting to go into that realm, right? One thing I want to say is don't look at this person being focused on themselves. And I think this is a two-way street. So if you're a cross watcher listening to this, I'm talking to you here as well. Don't take this person focusing on themselves and doing the work they need to do to heal themselves as being checked out of the relationship, because it's actually the relationship that's causing them to be willing to go and deal with this stuff on both sides. Okay? So, very intense reading, very, very intense reading. And, like I said, I see tons of mirroring going on here with these two people. So I'm going to call this quits on this, though, and, just stick with it. Stick with it. Stick with doing the work and exploring yourself and being present, figuring out what it is that you want your present life to look like, and get yourself closer every day towards that. Okay? Thank you for watching, if you're still with me. If you want to take a look at this more deeply, send me an email, keaghantarot@gmail.com. We can take a look at this much more deeply in a personal reading. But all in all, I think that this is good. It's just a matter of what each of these two people can manage to accomplish. Okay?